Chris is out there blasting cumbia music. She's on her house cleaning brigade. All right, I am back, everybody. Second stream of the day. Much like second breakfasts, we are doing our second LOTRO stream of the day, which means I need to move my coffee over here. I need to move this keyboard up here and bring all this stuff over from here. We're going to pick up where we left off this morning. All right, let's see here. We were helping... Oh, we have another quest here. Oh, this is Glaowin's map. Yeah, I don't want to do that right now. Those are fun quests, but not... There's a mosquito in here I'm going to have to get rid of shortly. Okay, I think everything we have to do is out and about, so let's... Yeah, everything's here is out in the fields, so let's just go down here and head out of town. Yeah. Defeat foes of the southern exit. We'll head this direction. Oh, I forgot we need to do some crafting too. We're gonna have to take a peek at what we got in our inventory. I don't know if there's crafting stations in this town, to be honest with you. We may have to go back to Snowborn, I think is what it's called. I don't remember the main town. Oh shit, I forgot. Oh no, I didn't. I just forgot where I put it. Oop, I just crossed something. What am I looking for around here? That's the farm. North of me. Sorry, no. Northeast of me. Let's go over this direction. What's up, Dr. J? Woo, server lag. At least I'm assuming that's server lag and not me lag. Let's double check. I don't think it's me lag. I think it's server stuff. Alright, we should be able to get in another 2 or 3 hour session here today, everybody. So if you're tuning in for the first time today, settle in. We already had our morning session. This morning I had a meeting to attend to. So rather than start at our normal start time of 9 a.m. Mountain, I played very early for 2.5 hours. Then I went and did my meeting, and then I'm done with that meeting now, and we are back for more Lord of the Rings Online. If you'd like to know more about the new modified schedule, which started last week, make sure to check out the overall schedule video, as well as the video I just published talking about my adjusted Lord of the Rings Online schedule for the rest of 2024.
These are desperate times for the Rohirrim.
Alright, we have more peeps we need to rescue from around the farm here.
I am afraid of what is happening to these lands.
Okay, we should have one more to rescue.
I am afraid of what is happening to these lands.
Meet me near the main stables. Okay, which are over here. And we gotta find Otter in the center of the farm. Oh, these guys come back fast. We're gonna take care of this. I need like 5 of these or something for credit. Should be one back up over here too. Alright, there's Otter, Sirik, or Wolf.
I do
Thank you
not
for
know
rescuing me.
if we will survive this
We have
onslaught.
much work to do here to recover the farm and get the fields tended to again. Oh, we've got follow-up
I am
quests.
afraid of what is happening to these lands.
The Warglade riders got my leg when I was escaping and I had to limp my way here. I can't make it back. Can you please check the other farm? I can. My father's missing? I can also take care of your father. This one's close. It says use the horn on the road south. Sure. Garth's farm. It's just due south of us. Okay. Off we go. Don't be scared. Don't be scared of the bad guys. It's just orcs, guys. They're not gonna hurt you. Oh, it looks burned down. You arrived at Gefurth's farm and it has been ransacked. Torwa's father should be nearby. Uh-oh. I see a corpse. That's not good. You hear the old farmer's last breath rattle from his lungs as you kneel down to check on him. A peaceful look creeps across his face in that final moment. He must have been on the verge of death for some time, and has found peace knowing that he was found, or from catching a glimpse of his last living son. Now we hear something approaching. Oh, that was just his son that was... No, hang on, we got a work rider here. I may have to go get another chunk of bread to have with my coffee. One of the worst parts about making bread is that you always want to eat it. Dude, it's such a curse, man. It's like, it's so good. Let me have some more. Let's ride north. Oh, these are backpacks all over the place.
I am afraid of what is happening to these
All right, you are
lands.
welcome. All right, I think the next one we have to ride to is the one that's over to the east of here. Before we go, I gotta check some stuff here. Hang on, guys. I gotta check something here before we continue. Hang on. I gotta move this down, answer this, and then we'll get back to the stream here. I'll be done just a second, guys. Okay, I think I'm done there, guys. I had to answer some stuff in Discord, but we're good. We should be good to continue again now. I got pinged and it was something I needed to answer, so that's answered. Let's get back to the stream. Where's my air conditioning controller? 'Cause I want to drop the AC down a bit. Cool my ass down. It's supposed to rain again. Let me check the weather. It rained almost all day yesterday. Oh yeah, we're due for rain in about 2 hours, it looks like. It's not too bad right now. It's about 85 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 degrees Celsius. That's not too bad. But it's warm enough that I'm like, yeah, it's time to drop the AC down a bit. Alright, if you're tuning in for the first time, everybody, welcome to the second stream of the day. Our second LOTRO stream. Normally I start at 9 a.m. and just move forward, but we had a meeting today I had to go to at 10 a.m. So rather than start a stream and then stop it an hour later, I did a 2.5 hour stream very early morning today, around 6:30 a.m. Till 9 a.m. and then went and did the meeting, and I am now back, and we're going to continue on for the next 2 to 3 hours. Get another chunk of Lord of the Rings online in today. And then tomorrow, we're also starting early tomorrow because it's a launch day for New World Eternum, and the servers are going live at 7 a.m. local time, 7 a.m. Mountain Time, 6 a.m. Pacific. So tomorrow morning we will be starting bright and early. I should have the stream up by 6:30 a.m. Mountain Time, and we're going to be ready to go as soon as the servers are up so that we can be spamming that character creation key button to get into the queue to get our character created and hopefully get going into... Oh, we had our patterned feet and hungry growls getting closer. So tomorrow's going to be a big day. We're going to be really busy. So hopefully we'll see you on YouTube and Twitch because I will be multi-streaming like I always do. And tomorrow's going to be a long day. More than likely we will do more than our traditional 6 to 8 hours. We will probably do a 6 to 8 hour stream in the morning, and then I'll take a break for lunch and come back and do another stream after lunch and a nap. However, if we're feeling good and the audience is tuned in and we're good to go and we're not burned out and we're not tired, we don't need to take a nap, we might actually just push on tomorrow and do like a 10 or 12 hour stream. You never know. So just be there tomorrow. All things will take place in their own time. But New World Eternum is the main game starting tomorrow for the next 15 days until Dragon Age the Veilguard drops on the 31st, and that becomes the main game. We will be taking a brief break in there for Black Ops 6. But the current stream schedule is 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. every single day, Mountain Time. And then if we have really good turnouts on the streams, I usually push an extra couple hours, go to 8. I don't often go beyond 8 hours, but on launch days I sometimes will if we have good turnout. So we'll see how tomorrow goes. We have a busy fall ahead of us, everybody. Dragon Age the Veilguard. Let's see, we're doing New World Eternum, into Black Ops 6, into Dragon Age Veilguard, into Stalker 2, into Star Wars Outlaws Story DLC, into Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And then probably in January, late December, early January, we're going to take a step back and do the Greedfall 2 Early Access, and possibly the Path of Exile Early Access. And then after that, we've got Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 in January, followed by Avowed in February, and then Atomfall and Tales of the Shire in March of next year. And I haven't really planned too much beyond March of next year. In between that, we do Lord of the Rings Online on Mondays, and we do World of Warcraft on Wednesdays and Saturdays for a few hours during the latter parts of the streams. If you're watching on Twitch right now, all of the scheduled stuff is up on YouTube and a variety of videos, so you can check those out at your leisure. So it says Fallows Warg up ahead. For a minute there, I was like, I thought it said Famous Warg. It's a Fallows Warg. Alright, Ornate. Come on, more broke branch. Give me your hitbox. Alright, we got some debris over here. Probably related to his brother. What's up? Is it Fule? Fule Malna? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right.
I am afraid of what is happening to these lands. I do not know if we will survive this onslaught.
Oh, there's a log we have to click on. Oh, I see. It was getting hidden behind him as an NPC. It was almost right. Well, I'm not sure of what the accents, what accents are pronounced how, so I'm sorry. Any elf who would risk their life to save my brother is a friend of mine. It means ears made of raspberries. Awesome. I am back, Dr. Nick 2. Back in action.
I do not know if we will survive this onslaught.
Oh, he's got another follow-up.
These are desperate times for the
Warg riders
Rohirrim.
attacking our farms came fast and done too much damage, but it's time to strike back. We need to head toward Eggsid's farm. Yep, we should be doing another 2 to 3 hours, Falcon. 'Tis the plan. At least 2. Yeah, 2 to 3 hours at least. Try to get our accumulated 6 or 7 hours up today. That's assuming I don't get tired. I'm drinking my, like, 5th cup of coffee right now. I usually do pretty good on the LOTRO views, Falcon, so I don't stress about it too much with this game. We usually get around 50 people by the time everything's up and going. Otherwise, I go away and make videos. Because, like, we finished watching Slow Horses Season 1 last night, so I need to go record a video for my review of the first season. Oh, hold on, we got a whole bunch of quests that just popped up. Alright, well, good luck to your wife. I'm not sure what's going on with the hospital, but that's usually never a good thing to have to go to the hospital. So, best wishes. I may have to duck out and check on Lucas here in a minute because I hear one of the kitty cats is crying outside. I know Chris is out doing yard work with Pippin and everybody else. What's up, Petey? There's a torch. What do I need a torch for? Burn the tents. We can do that. That's 5 of those. Do we still we need to burn more tents? Oh, I see there was 3 close to the windmill. Gotcha. Oh, I may need to do 1 more of these. Raw meat. What am I doing with this? Oh, we're gonna poison it for the wargs. I see. And we can do the water bowls. Ooh, I heard something about Saruman. What's up, Pixel? Alright, we got 1 more water bowl. Baby wargs. Yep. Alright, now I gotta find more of these warg riders. But also these guys, right? Yep. I need these. Oh, hello. No, not for me. I've moved back to the live servers for now. There's a mosquito in here that I'm gonna have to kill. What's up? What do you need? special? Oh, there's nothing like messing with your spouse. She's working. She's a little hot and sweaty right now. She's outside doing homestead stuff. She was doing laundry earlier, and I think she's graduating to hanging up more chicken wire for the catio. Pixel says where to go after Angmar. Are you playing on Legendary or normal? Legendary servers or normal servers? If you're on a normal server, you go to Moria next. Well, technically, if you have finished Angmar, I don't know where you're at in the book quests. So if you have not yet finished the book quests, I would suggest to finish the book quests, because Volume 1 will end up having you back in Rivendell, and Elrond will have a quest that leads you to Volume 2, which takes you to Eregion, which leads you to Moria. That's the natural progression. But if you're just doing quest zones, yeah, after Angmar and Misty Mountains comes Eregion, and Eregion into the Moria. But if you follow the volume quests, they will lead you in the right direction. But like Volume 1 spends most of its time in Angmar and Eriador. But then by the time you get to the end of Volume 1, you'll be moving to Eregion and then Moria. All of Volume 2 takes place in Moria. Well, not all of it, but most of it. Oh yes, yeah. There's a lot of travel, which is one of the reasons why the hunter has always, or the ranger has always been my favorite class in LOTRO, because we get the fast travel, we get the teleports. Because holy shit, doing the Volume 1 missions take you all over the place, and you either need lots of mithril coins, or it's a big map, and there's lots of places to go. Mr. Vime says, building my first character, make it a hobbit, but need help picking a class. What would you suggest? I have a video. You're watching on YouTube. There is a link to the LOTRO playlist, and in that playlist is a video called What Class Should I Play as a New Player if I'm on a Legendary server? With a few of my tips on which classes you should play. Why am I not getting armor off of these Warg Riders? It must be Warg Riders from a different location. Yes, like Salty says, play all the classes. Essentially, if you want to be able to travel around very quickly and you don't mind being a little squishy, the Ranger is a very good class. But I would suggest Minstrel is probably my, it kind of depends on the day. Like if you want something that's super survivable, go Guardian. Guardians can do everything. They're super tanky. They have self-heals during combat with riposts. It's sword and shield. You have heavy armor. Nothing can kill you. If you want to go Minstrel and you don't mind the tactical component of the Minstrel is probably one of the funner classes to play. Then if you want something that's a pet class, you go with like the Lore Master. But then that video has a whole bunch of explanations about what is best for new players, kind of based on what it is that you want to play. I know why I didn't get armor, guys. I was supposed to be looting these guys, I think. Fuck! I've killed a bunch of these and never looted them. I never like physically clicked the bodies. I always get confused because you call it different things in different games. It's Hunter here, it's Hunter in World of Warcraft, but then it's Ranger in EverQuest, and it's Ranger in Baldur's Gate 3, and Ranger in... I mean, it's just... It is what it is. I would prefer it to be called Ranger here, but I know why they don't. Because technically the Rangers in Middle-earth are the Dunedain, so they don't want to have crossover and people getting confused thinking that, oh, I'm playing one of the Dunedain. No, you're not. You're playing a, so I get why they use the word hunter here. Got a couple of turn-ins here. Nope, that's the wrong turn-in. Don't want to talk to him yet. Yeah, exactly. There's the entire Dunedain quests, which I don't think this character do I have the cosmetics? Yes, I do. I have the hooded version of the Grey Company gear. Because that quest line is awesome. That's one of the coolest quest lines, going through the forest and working with them. So technically you do end up becoming one of the Dunedain. My lore master took the non-hooded version of that.
I do not know if we will survive this onslaught. I do not know
oh my God,
if
he
we
has
will
more
survive
quests.
this onslaught. I am afraid of what is happening to these lands.
Alright, we need tools to help mend the broken fence. Guys, I'm going to be a little bit yawny. I'm waiting for my next round of coffee to kick in. So if there are yawns that take place over the next 30 to 45 minutes, I'm going to apologize in advance. Yesterday was glorious, though. It was the first day in a long time where I didn't stream for 6 or 8 hours yesterday because it was our anniversary. So I only did I did a 2-hour stream in the morning, and then the rest of it was just drinking wine and eating tons of food with Chris, and we binge watched the season of Slow Horses, the first season. So it was nice. I woke up generally refreshed today, but I'm a little tired right now because we've been going for a bit. After my 5th cup of coffee, well, technically I had about 3 cups of coffee in the morning at like 5 a.m., like 4 to 5 a.m. is when I drink my first 3 cups. And then I had a cup before my meeting towards the end of the first stream we did today. Then I had an hour and a half meeting, and then I came back from that, and I'm on the 5th cup, which should carry me through the rest of this stream onto the... there's a mosquito in here. I'm going to graduate to the other half of that bottle of wine we left off from yesterday here in a bit. And that'll put me to my nap. But we'll do the wine later on in the stream.
I am afraid of what is happening to these lands. I am afraid of what is happening to these lands.
Sooner we get better. Let me know when you're ready to get started. So we're gonna go prepare the farm.
Thrim's
but Chris and I
farm is
drink a
on the
lot of
verge
coffee.
recovery,
So usually I drink
but
about
the
6
efforts of the
cups a
work
day.
hands may be for naught should the
Usually
war
between
riders
like
return.
I get up at 4. Sometimes earlier. There are days the cats get me up at like 2 o'clock in the morning. But most mornings I'm up. Like this morning was 3:30. Technically, Lucas woke me up at like 3 o'clock wanting to play, and then I was like, leave me alone, and he went away for a little bit, and then he came back, and then he went away, and by 3:30 I was already up this morning, so we just rolled right into it today.
Our mission is dire.
Follow Honor to the western fields. Technically, I'm drinking a lot less coffee than I was drinking because last year at this time I was going through about 2 liters a day of coffee, but I'm not. That was we're down quite a bit from that. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Now we got some white hand pillagers coming. Oh, I guess we can't attack those. They're just gonna be... They're gonna run off after that guy, so... Okay, he's done. That'll probably be the captain. Run toward the barn! We'll fight and gather there. There's too many and they're setting our farm on fire. We need to stick together. For the farm! For the farm! Okay, now we speak to Otter.
Will you aid the horse lords?
We must survive. You cannot escape. We have you surrounded. I'm not gonna do orc voices today, guys. Yeah, I'm not doing orc voices today. I normally do orc voices, but I'm feeling it in the throat today. I think we're gonna skip the orc voices today. Captain killed this elf. We can do a little bit. Nothing serious. Technically, I suppose we can mount up. His name is Laud. He's the lieutenant of Nurzum. Nurzum's a pretty big threat, man. He's taken out like so many of the leaders. That quest when he just drops the bodies of the reeve right there in front of the town gates, that was brutal. He's just like, here, let me destroy your lands.
The White Wizard has taken everything from us.
The enemy mentioned an artifact or weapon that Nurzum is using. It's interesting news, but may not make much difference. None of them will be the end of us all, no matter what kind of artifact he is or isn't using. Well, not really, because I'm gonna save you. Hint, hint.
It is a sad thing to watch your ones die.
I may or may not have done this before a couple years ago. Please put a log on the fire. A chill has crept into the room since we began talking. Unfortunate situations and the poor people of Forlaw. The logs are over there against the wall to your right. New quest, Paralyzed by Grief. He has had a rough time of it, guys. Put the log on the fire.
The White Wizard has taken everything from us.
It is clear that fate has cursed me and my family. Might I ask a favor before you speak with Kinneberg? I have waited to see a report from Dunfast and Witchshaws for some time, but none has arrived. Please speak with the messenger by the stables. We can do that. Do I need to? I need to sell. Hello, Mr. Provisioner. Actually, you know what I need to do before I sell? At some point, I probably need to dip back to Rivendell and sell some stuff. But I also need to do some crafting. We got some traceries. I'll hold on to that. Ooh, that is a much better necklace. We need to take a look at that. Actually, I should take a look at all this gear, apparently. Vitality might, I mean... Sure. I don't really care about those stats, though. Welcome to the channel, guys. Thanks for following along.
It is wise for wanderers to equip themselves well.
Oh, those were branches. I need to hold on to those. Honestly, before I do anything, I should probably go do some crafting, because I need to burn up these, like, I don't need... I can't remember what this character does. This character's a woodworker, I think. No, I'm a tailor. Oh, that's right. My woodworker is the other character. I don't really think there's any clothing I can make, though. But I do need to keep grinding this out so that I can get to the next tier. Yeah, we should go do some. Let's sell these. Sell these. I don't need that. Weaponsmiths, roof cloaks. Alright, let's hold on to those. Let's go find a crafting station. If there even is one here in this town. I might have to go back to, is it Snowborn? I don't remember. I do not know what's up with the doors today. I never have this problem on the legendary servers, but I definitely have this problem on the free-to-play servers. The doors, every time I come into his Reeve Hall, when I try to leave, it won't let me, and I have to log out, log back in. At least there's a workaround. Oh, I'm still inside this time. Ooh. There we go. Let me out! Can I craft here? Those are trainers. That's the skirmish dude. Yeah, I think I need to go back to, Oh no, there might be something down here. Can you battle Sauron? I don't know that you ever face off directly against Sauron, no. Not that I'm aware of. Because you're not part of that story. That's the Fellowship. Technically, not even the Fellowship of the Ring fights Sauron. You do interact with Sauron. We just did a quest, maybe 3-4 weeks ago in the Cardolan area with the River Hobbits. We actually were able to witness the forging of the rings. So we interacted with Sauron. Or maybe we witnessed him. That might be a better way to look at it.
Hail, traveler.
Oh, hang on.
Are you here to help us?
No, we saw him in his
These lands are
beautiful
not to
form.
be traveled lightly.
Swamp cabbage. Ooh, what goodies do we have here? Cosmetics. Ooh, those look pretty good if I could dye them. It's a cool looking axe. What about sword? I don't like that at all. Well, I don't have enough coins. Heavy leggings. Heavy boots. I might have to get this set of heavy if I can wear it cosmetically. What's that? Where's the heavy breastplate? Here it is. Okay, that set of heavy gear looks pretty cool. And I can wear it cosmetically.
Welcome, friend. Are you in need of my services?
So here's the bracelets and stuff, which honestly I need a lot more. Oh, I like the little snowman. I totally didn't notice that until just now. There's a little snowman right here. Can I craft anywhere around here? I feel like I have to go back to, although, there's like a tanner. Yeah, it requires workbench. Is there a workbench in here? If there's not, I'm pretty sure I do have to go back to Snowboard. No, this is at the tavern. Although there is an auction hall here, that's nice.
We are a strong lot. We will survive.
Oh, I can't get back there from... Yeah, I can. Snowboard. Swift travel. Go to the center for crafting. Well, it is free to play walk, so if you want to give it a shot, see if it's something you like. There's no risk. The caveat is that it's an older game, so it is a little dated in terms of mechanics and the look of everything. But if you can handle the fact that it's a little dated, there's a lot of fun stuff to do here. Alright, we're going to let these craft, and I will be right back. Chris is out working on the catio, cutting chicken wire, and I just grabbed a glass of wine. She's like, "Are you not going to invite me?" There's the wine bottle, honey. Anyway, salute everybody. I got to give my wife shit. She's yesterday was our anniversary, so we're just sort of like, I can't believe she's working today. I thought she was going to take the day off. And she's like, "No, I'm going to go work on the catio." All right, let me catch up on chat, everybody. Walk says, "Might give this game a try. Was never into LOTRO. Don't know the lore that much." I think we already answered that one. Salty says, "If you want a game where it's about adventure story and immersing yourself in a world rather than grinding for loot, then you're going to love this game." This is true. Exactly, Centauri. That's why I don't play EverQuest anymore, specifically because it did not age well, and they have not done anything to modernize it. EverQuest 2, they've done a pretty good job over the years. I feel like EverQuest 2 is about the same level of optimization and modernization as Lord of the Rings Online. EverQuest 2 has made some, they have made some attempts to modernize, but not EverQuest 1. EverQuest 1 is, I mean, I still play a lot of it. There's playlists on my channel, like, even, I think we were still playing, up until like 2 years ago, I think we still played a little bit of the progression servers. We've done P99 a few times, but it's just, I think maybe 3 years ago was when I made the decision, I'm done. I'm never going back to EverQuest 1. I've done my time over the years. I have fond memories, but I don't go back and play Pools of Radiance as an example, because it's just too old. It's too outdated. I have no desire to go back and play, you know, those old school games from the 90s. I will occasionally play some point-and-click games. Like, I haven't done an entry in this channel. One of the early series that I used to do on this channel was point-and-click adventure games from back in the 90s. And I did, like, we did Gabriel Knight, Sins of the Father. We did The Dig. We did, most recently, I think even maybe 2 years ago, we did Indiana Jones, The Fate of Atlantis. We did Quest for Glory 1, 3, and 4. We did King's Quest 5. I don't think we finished the King's Quest 5 playthrough. I prefer 6 anyway. I don't think we've done any of the Space Quest games, though, on the channel. We did Full Throttle, the remastered edition. But I don't think I've done any point-and-click games for maybe 3 years. Alright, well, we dinged to the next tier of forestry, which is what we wanted. I'm just going to make a bunch of these and we'll stick them on the broker or something. Actually, you know what? I'm going to hold off on that. We might be able to just put those straight up on the broker and sell them. Ooh, I don't have any of this. I haven't gotten into this tier yet. The walnut. Maybe we'll just hold on to those. Okay, while we're here, I think we could also do we have any tailoring stuff we can do? Essentially, I just need to grind out the shavings, probably. Oh, I need a superior workbench. Is there not a superior? Do I have to go back to Esseldine for this? Nope. We're good. I just had to get in range of this. It's highly unlikely that they'll do too much more with the UI, but I do know the beta right now, in testing they've got some upcoming. I believe it's the elves are getting the next Avatar pass with additional hairstyles and a bunch of other stuff. So I mean, Standing Stones Games does what they can, but I doubt the landscape stuff will change too much. But the game does have. We were taking a look at things earlier today. There was a scene we came across with a windmill, birds flying across the sky. All of it looked incredibly realistic. And it looked very good for a 17-year-old game, if that makes sense. Not everything in the game looks the same. Like, definitely the early parts of the game, like, from, like, 17 years ago, look dated. But, like, Rohan, Gondor, Mordor, everything that's been built over the last, like, 7, 8 years looks much better than the stuff that was built, 14, 15 years ago. It's hard to think about the fact that this game has been out that long. It blows my mind sometimes. The reason they haven't updated the UI is probably because they've got a bunch of stuff hard-coded in, and it's a UI that's tied to its own server, so you don't want to mess that up, and it's probably something that they can't really go back and fix because of the way it was programmed into the game 20 years ago when it was first built in. We literally have no idea how they've got their server infrastructure to working. Yeah, it would be a landslide of bugs, exactly, Walk. It's one of the reasons why World of Warcraft, as an example, in order to make Classic work, it was a massive undertaking to get those servers. Well, that's one of those cases of if it ain't broke, it don't need fixing. Man, I probably should have gone and got the VIP crafting bonus, so we just craft a lot faster. It's all good. I got nothing else to do. Sit here and drink my wine, hang out, go check Discord while we're sitting here. Oh, it's not a supposedly thing, Tabin. It's definitely in the works. They just did an investor call earlier this year, and they are still prototyping. So I would anticipate that by next year, Amazon will have a prototype finalized, and they will actually start working on that as their next LOTRO or next Lord of the Rings game. I don't presume to know anything about it, nor would I want to impose upon them, because that's their thing. They've got the money. They're the ones with the licensing. I am absolutely content. Whatever they do with it is what I'm going to play. So in terms of, I mean, I understand your question. What would I like to see in the new LOTRO or in the new Lord of the Rings MMO? But it doesn't matter to me. I don't give a shit. I will play it no matter what. Like, I play everything that comes out, whether it's the same. I'm the same way with Star Wars, Star Trek, Middle Earth. I'm ride or die with these franchises, so I don't care who makes them, who publishes, who delivers. I just play games, and I watch movies, and I read books, and I watch TV shows, and I love Rings of Power. I love Peter Jackson's films. I love I love Battle for Middle-earth. I love the War in Middle-earth. I love the Third Age. I love Lord of the Rings Online. I love Tales of the Shire is going to be awesome when it comes out in March. Um, I think correct, Centauri. The only thing they have confirmed is that it has to be Third Age because that's the only thing they have the rights to. So it's going to be a Lord of the Rings Third Age game. Yep. Homeless says, I got to level 49 on my burglar this weekend. Was told that switching to the red line might be a good idea for the mines, but I don't know. That's entirely up to you. You can have 2 specs, Homeless. I don't know if you were aware of that. You can have 2 specs, so you can switch between the 2 at will. So why not just, yeah, you can run both. You can have one and then run it when you feel like it, and then maybe try the other one and run that and see what you like with it. But you can have 2. You don't have to worry about it. Other Java compiler says, I don't have a ton of LOTRO. I don't have a ton of Lord of the Rings knowledge. What does the Third Age encapsulate? The Third Age is everything that most people know. It's the Fellowship of the Ring, the 2 Towers, and the Return of the King. It's the 3 books that make up the Peter Jackson films from 20 years ago, as well as The Hobbit. So it's The Hobbit, the Fellowship of the Ring, the 2 Towers, and the Return of the King. That all takes place in the Third Age. That's the simple answer to your question. The simple answer is the Third Age is everything after Sauron and the creation of the rings, and then there's the big battle when they cut the ring off his finger, and that's when we get into the Third Age. And it's basically, the Third Age is all about Sauron trying to get his ring back, and then all the stuff that happens in the books and the movies. That all takes place at the end of the Third Age. So the books, the films, everything you've seen before, that's all the end of the Third Age. And there's thousands of years of history that have come before that, between the First Age, the Second Age, and the beginning of the Third Age. The Rings of Power show is covering the Second Age, which is essentially the rise of Sauron, the creation of the rings, and then the fall of Sauron at the big battle when they cut the ring off his finger. And then before that was the First Age with Morgoth and Eru and the creation of the planet and all that stuff, which is covered in the Silmarillion. So Third Age is just the books. It's like if you've seen the Peter Jackson movies or you've read those books, that's the Third Age, and that's the end of it, essentially, the end of the Third Age. The simple version. The more complicated answer would be that I have a whole series dedicated to it called Mondays in Middle-earth, where I read through The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings over the period of about 18 months. We also did some of the Silmarillion. I don't remember how many episodes are in that. It was a weekly show for like a year and a half. Somewhere on YouTube there's a playlist. It's like a vodcast podcast. I don't think I'm going to have enough to get through this tier. It's going to be close. That sounds like my wife. I bought her she's never read the books. She's seen the films a bunch of times, and it's our annual Christmas tradition. Like, she literally just asked, like, last week, she's like, are we going to start soon? I was like, we can start whenever you want, but technically we usually start around the end of November. And we watch the Hobbit films and then the Lord of the Rings films, usually over the course of like 3 or 4 days. Extended editions only, of course. I don't do the pitiful theatrical editions. Thumbs down. It's got to be extended editions. But she's never read the books, but she loves the films, so we watch them every year. And then I bought her the box. I bought her a box set in Spanish so that she had it in her native language. And I think she started reading The Hobbit right before we moved, and then when we moved, they never got taken out of the boxes again, so they're still in storage. But I got her a nice little box set with The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings and a cool map, and she'll get around to it one day. Man, it's going to be really, really close, isn't it? $14.78. I'm not going to make this. It's like going to be, literally, it's going to be like a sliver of XP that we need. Oh, $14.94. Come on. I'm almost out of mats. $15.02. Oh, it's going to be the skin of our teeth. $15.10. I got a crit on that, which is the only reason we're actually going to be able to do this. I think we should get this. That's cool. Barely, man. $15.18. Here's the combine. Boom! There we go. We have mastered the Eastminute tier. And now we can firmly ignore anything until we get to Westminute. Which needs Aeorlingus leather. And then we're also firmly in that tier for woodworking as well. Oh, what about prospecting? I need to do some. I forgot. I totally need to do my where the hell is the forge around here? Aha! Because we are prospecting as well. Oh, we are already past the Eastminute. No, not. I'm looking at the wrong one. Oh, yeah, we are. Oh, that's because I haven't mastered with this one. I said screw mastery. Let's just do the base just so that I can craft it. Okay, we're good. We're good. I don't need to worry about anything here. Goldor over on YouTube says, hey, recently just subbed to the channel. Love the content. Really suddenly getting back into LOTRO. Started a brand new account, but struggling to decide on a class. Any tips for a casual class? I have a video. You know what? Let me just go find the video, because this is like the third time this has been asked today in chat, and the easier solution is to just say, hey, here's the quick answer, and then here, let me send you to this video, which is like a 15-minute version that has a way more information that will better answer your question than me. Let's see here. Oops, wrong keyboard. Best class for new players. So this video is in response to a question that was asked on the legendary servers, but it applies to free-to-play servers as well. So it doesn't really matter. Let me put this in chat. So I just posted a link in chat for people on Twitch and YouTube. I'm going to sticky that / pin that to the top, so that if we get any other folks asking that question as well, you can quickly point to that video as a reference point. Now the title is Best Class for New Players on the Legendary servers, but it kind of applies to the free-to-play servers as well. The short answer to your question, Goldar, before you go watch that video, is that all of the classes can solo equally well, because the base difficulty for this game is story mode. So you're like never gonna die. It's almost impossible to die unless you're just willfully like running into groups of 30 monsters, you know. Otherwise, every class can solo in this game. There's no forced grouping. There's none of that is here. So it's just, this is a big ass story game. So regardless of how casual you play, you don't have to do a gear grind. There's no meta. The only time any of that enters into the picture is if you decide that you want to go like raid in this game, and that's like less than 1% of the population and less than 1% of the game. content is for raids, and it's not tied to the main storyline. It's 100% optional stuff, so there's like dungeons and raids and stuff. Otherwise, like there's skirmishes, which what is it? Control J. Skirmishes. Most of these skirmishes can be done by yourself. Skirmishes, you get an NPC that comes along with you and can be a soldier or a healer or a DPS. You can go do these by yourself. Some of them you can do with other players. Some of these are raid versions, but there's a ton of these in the game. Like I'm not even max level, and I have access to a ton of skirmishes and dungeons. They scale, many of them. There's a ton of story content. There's 17 years of story content. So all of the classes can solo equally well. All of the classes can be done casually. It just kind of depends. Do you want to be tanky? Do you want to be DPS-y? Do you want to have a pet that does everything for you? Do you want to heal? Do you want to be like a wizard? Do you want to be like, what do you want to do? And that's when you get into what all the classes essentially do. What's up, Kyle Talks? Homeless says, I had several Slayer D's accelerated, so I was able to get my virtues juiced up. Very nice. Very nice. Well, I know earlier, because Standing Stone Games was kind enough to throw me a Ultimate Edition of the upcoming Legacy of Morgoth expansion. One of the things that came with that was like 20,000 virtue or whatever and so I totally just beefed up my determination to like level 34, and then right now I'm working on my wisdom. Warden, I mained a Warden through Moria and into Mirkwood. It is a lot of fun, but oh my god, the combos, I can't handle the combos anymore. My old man hands are like, nope. There shall be no more combo pressing for you, sir. Rapid fire button pressing is no longer on the list of things that we worry about. And I play World of Warcraft with a controller, and I lament every time I play this game. I joke. I'm like, Standing Stones Games, you need to give me controller support. Because if this game had controller support, I would totally play it more frequently, and I would play it on the controller. But I don't like to play with mouse and keyboard, which is one of the reasons I only play this game once a week. Because I'm not a big fan of mouse and keyboard anymore. I like to kick back in my chair and play with a controller. It's rumored that Star Wars: The Old Republic is coming to console, which is gonna, if it does, Star Wars: The Old Republic will make a resurgence on my channel. I have a massive playlist from over the years, but I would happily roll on a new server and just forget all my legacies and start from scratch. If they did a console edition on like the PS5 or the Series X for Star Wars: The Old Republic, oh, I would be all over that. I don't care if it's a 12-year-old game. It looks good. It still plays good. It's 100% voiced. It's chef's kiss. We're starting New World tomorrow, by the way, guys. Speaking of what Centauri just said. We are starting bright and early. So, we're going to be playing on the PS5. We're going to be starting at 6:30 Mountain in the morning. I will be live. Servers go live at 7 a.m., so we're hopefully going to be able to get in before there's too much of a queue. But I am expecting to sit in the queue for an hour tomorrow morning. But we are going to be playing New World. That's going to be the main game for the next 2 weeks. Every single day from 9 a.m. Mountain onwards, we will be playing for 6 to 8 hours a day. We're playing New World. If you're new here, welcome. This is my day job. I multi-stream on YouTube and Twitch. And in between the live streams, I publish a lot of movie reviews, TV show reviews, video discussions, game guides, first impressions, lots of other stuff, early thoughts videos, all over in the YouTube channel. So make sure you're following along there as well. Chris and I just watched season 1 of Slow Horses last night. I'm going to put together a review for that, probably coming out tomorrow, afternoonish. But tomorrow morning, we're getting up bright and early to start New World. And if you haven't checked out the video that went up just before this stream, I put out my schedule for Lord of the Rings Online for the rest of 2024. So you can go check that out. We're going to be playing on Mondays, but we're no longer playing at the 4 p.m. slot. We've moved it up now. We're playing essentially from noon till 4 every day, like noon Mountain till 4 p.m. Mountain-ish. Noon to 3, noon to 4. Second half of the Monday stream is going to be the Lord of the Rings section. Similarly, the second half of the streams on Saturdays is World of Warcraft, and we do a little bit on Wednesdays as well. Sith Agent is great. It's like James Bond in space. It's like James Bond in Star Wars. It was really good. I like the Sith Agent. Smuggler is still my favorite though. I've done 2 Smugglers all the way through, 2 Mercenary Bounty Hunters all the way through, 2 Jedi Knights all the way through. Although technically one was a Guardian and one was a Sentinel, but it's the same storyline. But I love the Old Republic. It's good. It's a great game. I'm not actively playing it this year, but we did a 3-month section last year. I think we're done crafting, everybody. I think we can go back up to where we were working on quests. Onward we go. Back to...
What
forget the name
business
of the
have
place
you
we
with
were
the
at.
Rohirrim?
Forlaw, I think is where we were. Jantek says, hey, Renfail, watched your videos and convinced me to jump on the LOTRO train. Started a River Hobbit minstrel with a bagpipe. Hell yeah. I can't decide on which profession is useful in that class. Wow, that's a good question. Because you could go a lot of options. You could go woodworker and make all your own instruments. Because there's different instruments that give you different things, different buffs. But now you can have 4 professions because you get 3 for the base and you can buy a 4th from the LOTRO store, so you can have 4 professions. Tailoring is useful if you're going to make your own armor. Woodworking if you want to make your own instruments. Scholar is really good to make dyes for coloring armor. And also potions and things. So maybe... You know, you might want to go... I don't know. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Maybe go Scholar, Tailor... Because here's the thing. Tailors can get their materials off of mobs. You don't need a special harvesting skill for that. So you could go Tailor and make your own gear. You could go Scholar to dye all your own armor that you're going to be making as a tailor. You could go Woodworker to make all your instruments and weapons, and then just go Forester to harvest all of your wood. Exactly what Jantek... Yeah, exactly. Scholar, Tailor, Forester... well, it would be Scholar, Tailor, Forester, Woodworker. Exactly. And that should give you everything you need to cover your minstrel. Honestly, I think that would be a pretty good... That rounds that character out pretty well. You can make all your own cloaks, all your own light armor. You could dye it. You can make all your own potions. And then on top of it all off, you can make your clubs. And the only thing you won't be able to make is shields, because I think the armor smith makes shields. But you could always just buy a shield off the broker if you really need to have a crafted shield. That's one piece of gear out of all the other pieces. I would not worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. So yeah, I think Scholar, Tailor, Woodworker, Forester sounds like a perfect option to me.
I do not know if we will survive this onslaught.
Alright, the messengers left for Dunfast as Garwick requested. We still have to talk to Horn, but I'm not worried about him yet because we're still doing these side quests. Oops, what did I just do here? You're welcome, Jantic. Why would I need a big ass sword, medium? I'm a ranger. I have a big ass bow. You can have a big ass sword if you want. You can go play a champion. It has a very good community, Homeless. As a general rule, most people who are playing Lord of the Rings Online are here because they love Middle-earth. As opposed to, say... And I'm not saying, by the way, because our guild, we have a great community in World of Warcraft. A very great community in World of Warcraft. But the World of Warcraft community at large is... There's a huge portion of those who are mostly there for the gear grind, just like with Final Fantasy XIV. So you're going to come across some people who don't care about the story. Whereas Lord of the Rings Online, I would argue that like 99% of the people who play this game are here because it's Middle-earth and they want to play a hobbit or an elf or a dwarf You know, want to run around as a dwarf screaming Baruch Kazad, or playing an elf and Nagovan. So I think that you're going to find a more, I don't want to say roleplay centric community, but definitely a more Middle Earth, laid back, relaxed community.
These are desperate times for the Rohirrim. I am afraid of what is happening to these lands.
Yes, most people here do love Middle Earth to the point where they are, we love all of Middle Earth. We love Rings of Power, we love Peter Jackson's films, we love the books, we love the Hobbit films from the 70s, we love Bakshi's films, we love all things Middle Earth. There is no exception. Give us all the things. It is all our precious. There is no hatred here. There is no dark side. That only exists if you let it. And to quote our favorite Jedi, fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. And the only people who are suffering are the people who hate Middle Earth, or people who hate Star Wars, the people who hate Star Trek. Get those people out of here. We don't want anything to do with them. Whip, crack. Frodo of the 9 fingers and the Ring of Doom. Where the hell are we going? You got me sidetracked thinking about the songs from the Hobbit and the Return of the King films, the animated films. We gotta go south. Actually, wait, Horn is down south. The next stages of Grief also south. The Bakshi film was a lot of fun for what it is, and it definitely influenced Jackson in a lot of ways. But also, was it John Hurt doing the voice of Aragorn? Is just sweet, sweet music to my ears. R.I.P. Centauri says, I watched a couple episodes of season 1 of The Witcher last night. I'm sad what the show has come to. Cavill was so good. I mean, I just watch TV to have fun with it. It's unfortunate that he's gone. I probably won't watch any of the stuff that comes after unless Chris asks me to. Because for me, Cavill was Geralt of Rivia. But I understand that recasting happens in shows sometimes. And for people who are hardcore Witcher fans, I'm not a hardcore Witcher fan. I am a video game fan. I've never read the books. I am not like, it's gotta be canon or I'm not gonna watch it. I'm just more of a, I really liked Henry Cavill's performance as Geralt, and I don't really care to watch, even though Liam is a great actor in his own right. I'm just kind of like, that's a different, maybe in a couple of years when it's not so raw, I'll go back and watch the 2 seasons that they're going to do with Liam. I think that would be a fair way to do it. I'm definitely not just going to ignore it forever. It's more along the lines of, meh, I don't really care to keep up with it anymore. We've got lots of other things to watch. But, I'm definitely not against it. I'm just like, nah, I'll go watch other things and I'll wait for Cavill to come around with his version of Highlander. I'm very much an equal opportunity viewer. I don't get caught up in who publishes what or who it's the same thing with video games. I get a lot of people who are like, I'm not going to play this game or that game because it's published by this company or developed by that company, and I don't go there. I play all the things. If I choose not to watch something that has nothing to do with who's behind it, it's more along the lines of, well, I really like that actor and that actor's no longer there, so I think I'll move on to other things. Oh, I'm totally not disappointed with Rings of Power. I was critical of Season 1 of Rings of Power, but Season 2 is fucking amazing. Season 2 was awesome. Especially the Durin's Bane stuff was just, and all the Anatar and Celebrimbor. So good. I think we have a quest here for things I need to check. Yeah, we have lots of quests. I think the other ones are just, yeah, like fall quests, which I'm not going to do. Dun, dun, dun. Homeless says, I like LOTRO a lot. It's fun to be in the world, and I don't feel pressed to advance. That's the key. There's no reason to rush. Yeah, next season of Rings of Power is going to be... Because I totally shredded them for Season 1. I was very critical of Season 1 coming into it, and then even through it. And then I was very, nervous about what they were going to do with Season 2, and then they did Season 2, and I went, oh, ho, ho, you guys totally listened to the feedback, and now you're firing on all pistons, and Bear McCreary's sound, the Tom Bombadil song, on top of the traveling song we got from Season 1, and then that orc metal song at the end of, I think it was episode 5 with the lead singer of Meshuggah, like, it's firing in all cylinders right now. It's very good. And it is very much a Sauron story. It's not a Galadriel story. So I'm glad that you were able to make that distinction. Salty says I don't like it because it's too much lore breaking. Well, you gotta just separate it out, man. They don't have the rights to the Silmarillion, so they can't follow the lore. Like, literally, it's impossible for them to follow lore that they don't have the rights to. So they do what they can. They work with the estate. The estate approves or disapproves things related to the show. And I think Brandon Sanderson had the best advice I can give anyone when it comes to an adaptation, is that you don't want your adaptations to be 100% true to the books. You want your adaptations to do things differently, because different mediums require different creative decisions to be made because of the way people consume the different mediums. So a radio drama is going to be different from a TV show, which is going to be different from a film adaptation. It's going to be different than a theater adaptation. They all have limitations in what they can and can't do, and the way that they need to create a story to be told in that medium. And once you can view things in that light, it's a lot easier to just be like, oh, so this is just like an alternate version of that. Look at it as an inspired by version, if it helps. Because I think any show that you want, whether if it's based off of a book or a short story or a play, there's always going to be things that you could pick at and say, well, they didn't do this. Because believe me, when I saw, trust me, the first time I saw Fellowship of the Ring in the theaters, and it wasn't Galadriel, or excuse me, it wasn't Galadriel, it wasn't Glorfindel at the Forge, it was Arwen, I was like, what the fuck are you doing, Peter Jackson? What the fuck? And then I saw the entirety of the saga, and I went, oh, I get what you're doing. And then I saw the extended editions, and now the extended editions, like the Arwen-Aragorn love story that plays out, is one of the best in all film adaptations. And I weep like a baby every time she shows up at the end, and Elrond's giving her hands to Aragorn, and Hugo Weaving is crying, in the role, and it's like, oh my god, I'm so glad that they did that. Even though my gut reaction when the film came out was like, how dare they? No, this isn't right. It's supposed to be Glorfindel. If they don't put Glorfindel at the fort, fuck this shit. I'm not gonna watch this shit. Fuck this. It's not a true adaptation. Like, if I had done that, I would have completely missed out on the beauty of the Peter Jackson films. And I think that that's something where, when it comes to watching an adaptation, there has to be an understanding that there are going to be things that change from the source material. I mean, even Tolkien himself, when they were doing the radio drama that was in his time, the Ents was a big pressure point, and even he himself was like, I think we're just going to take the Ents out because it's not working for the radio adaptation. Like, am I a Sanderson fan? I think he is a very good author, yes. I don't read everything he does. I definitely enjoy his work, but I don't voraciously consume all of his stuff. But see, you're trying, Salty, I'm going to have to call you out on that. you're not the gatekeeper for Tolkien. So it's too much irreverence to the source material. Do you represent the Tolkien estate in some way? Because unless you do, you don't get to make the call what is irreverent to the source material. Because the Tolkien estate is fine with it, and whether you agree with that or not, they're the ones who get to make the judgment call about what is produced based around Lord of the Rings, and they're the ones who get to make the call. So it's kind of like, some people have trigger points with Disney because they're like, Disney and Star Wars. Rah, 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 rah. Well, Lucas sold the rights to Disney, so Disney gets to do whatever they want. And if you're a Star Wars fan like I am, then you roll with it. And you go, hey, all Star Wars is good Star Wars. It's just that some Star Wars is better than other Star Wars. Like my 9-year-old nephew, here's a good example, guys. My 9-year-old nephew, his favorite movie of all time is The Last Jedi. Is it my favorite Star Wars movie? No. But in no way, shape, or form am I going to try to take that away from my 9-year-old nephew and be like, how dare you like The Last Jedi? That's a piece of shit film. It's irreverent. It doesn't listen. They disrespect George Lucas and his vision. It's a piece of shit film because it's Disney and you should never watch it. Blah, blah, blah. No, he's a 9-year-old kid. It's lightsabers and blasters and Jedi and Wookiees and Star Wars. It's like, I'm not going to try to take that away from a 9-year-old kid. So, I mean, everybody's allowed to have their opinion, yes. But I think it's important to make sure that we understand that it's always a good thing to have adaptations in the wild, because more adaptations means more fans coming back to the source material. And that is something that we should all celebrate. As fans of Middle-earth, of Star Wars, of Star Trek, of insert your favorite franchise IP here, like, every adaptation brings people to the source material, regardless of how true it is to the source material, and that's something that should be celebrated. Way of Kings is just so long. That's the one issue I have with Sanderson Centauri, is that it's almost like he makes it it's like a personal thing with him of like, I'm gonna have the biggest fucking book on the shelves at Barnes and Noble. Like, Robert Jordan's got nothing on me. I'm gonna write these, 7 million page epics. Because I don't have time to read that series. Like, he's like, oh yeah, the 5th one's coming out this Christmas, and then I'm gonna take a 10-year break and go work on other stuff. And I'm like, well, maybe over the next 10 years I will have the chance to read those 5 books, because I don't have time to read those 5 books right now. What are we looking for here? Footprints. Oh, there's some, I see, up here. He is the master world building, yes. There's farmers that we need to free. Is there something up at the top of this, maybe? What am I missing here? Oh, never mind. I didn't see you guys. My bad! Okay, we have one more thing we need to do over here, which is Nurzim's Passing. Investigate the first footprint. Haha! I found it. Well, and different people do different things. Like world building. Like here's a good example. Kevin J. Anderson is a New York Times best-selling writer he's the one who co-writes all the Dune novels with Brian Herbert, and he's done a ton of Star Wars stuff, and he writes at around the same pace as Brandon Sanderson, but rather than doing these massive books, he writes tons of smaller, like John Grisham, fast-paced, 350-page turners, right? And he does everything with voice to text, and then he has a transcriber who does. So he goes on these long hikes, dictates like a minimum of 3 chapters a day, and then gives that to his transcriber, and then he edits for the rest of the day. And he writes a lot of books every single year. But he does it at a different level. So he doesn't take the world building to the same level as Sanderson, but yet he is still producing highly entertaining novels that have complex stories and complex worlds. What blew my mind about one of the things that when I first read the Mistborn series, I'm not going to spoil anything here, but the earring thing with Vin, which is only revealed at the end of the 3rd book, that to me was one of the best, like, hidden things to have put into a book. And I was like, that is brilliant to have planned that out from the very beginning and been like, I'm gonna sneak it in here in these little 3, 4, 5 places, and then we're gonna let it play out over the course of these 3 books. You know, that was really cool. But one of the things that I don't like about Sanderson is he gets way, almost like R.A. Salvatore. He gets a little too into like the combat scenes sometimes, and I don't have any, like, I literally skim read like a third of Mistborn because it's just Vin jumping around and doing really epic Marvel style superhuman superhero shit with their powers, right? And that to me was very boring. I was like, meh. I mean, it's exciting the first couple of scenes, but then after it's like the 15th time that she's jumping through the air, and I was like, that's gonna look awesome on screen whenever they finally put that on screen. But I don't care to read the 50th battle of her jumping around like that. So I kind of skim read the battle stuff. The same thing like Robert Jordan. As much as I loved Robert Jordan's work, you know, he got a little too overly descriptive with like the embroidery on the dresses and what color schemes the curtains had. It was like, I don't necessarily need to know all that, which is why you can go back and look at, say, Roger Zelazny and say, this is a very tight, condensed sci-fi story told in first person. The guy likes cigarettes and coffee, and, you know, like the I think a good look at the what is the name of that book? Road Maps is a good example of Zelazny operating at like peak efficiency. But the Amber series is another good example of an epic world-building concept, then tightly controlled within the actual storyline, which only revolves around one major character, which is Corwin, and then moving on to Merlin after that. Liam says, I just installed the game, never played it, only found out a few weeks ago. Can you play other class or some much better? You can play any class you want, any class can solo. There's a sticky post on YouTube or Twitch. There's a pinned post right now, actually, that talks about the best class for new players if you're starting off for the very first time. Yeah, I like the relationship stuff too, gentlemen. I've played about every class there is, but they're all fun. I think the only one I haven't played is the Brawler and the Mariner are the only 2 I have not played. But they're all fun. Good luck with that, Pixel. Killing baby spiders and then a big one spawns with 100,000 hit points. I think that, yeah, one of the issues with Wheel of Time was that it got so successful that it was the first time that Tor had a fantasy series that was outselling like everything else in the New York Times. And so they were like, all right, go forth and just don't stop. Just keep going, Mr. Jordan. And then he kind of lost the plot around book. Just depends on your point of view, but I would argue that books 7 through 10, you know, there's definitely there was like 3 books in there that were kind of like, man, you could have really condensed those 3 down into 1, and it would have been, I think, better off. But we could argue that about any big. I mean, look at Terry Brooks as an example. Like, the Sword of Shannara has been going on for fucking ever, and there were definitely a lot of those books that didn't necessarily, they were not his best. But if you're a fan of the Shannara series, then you read them all and you take them. This goes back to what we were talking about earlier, like with Star Wars. Like, nobody likes the Christmas special or the Ewok films, but they are still nevertheless an important part of the overall Star Wars story, and so we embrace them even though they weren't that great. There's definitely some Shannara novels in there that were not that great. King Steven says, finally made it to the Gap of Rohan. The game is beautiful, traveling through Middle-earth with every region being different. It's one of the best experiences ever. Yeah, and the tech for a 17-year-old game, it's seamless. There's no zones. So, other than, I think, some instances, you know? If you can see it, you can go to it. And everything in the books, you can go visit. But Rohan is by far probably one of my most favorite expansions in this game, after Moria. But Rohan and Gondor are 2 areas where the team was like operating at peak efficiency in terms of world building. Definitely did a great job with this expansion. It's 100% soloable, Liam. 100%. Like, the only thing you need a group for is if you decide you're going to do raids, and that's less than 1% of the game, and it's not tied to the main story at all. It's 100% optional. So every class can solo. Everything can be soloed. There are dungeons that require groups, but they're optional. And the other thing too is they have something called landscape difficulty, which means the base difficulty is what I'm playing on because I don't care about challenge. But you can also go to the landscape difficulty and say, I want everything in the open world to be more difficult. I want to have the game be so hard that I need to roam around with 3 of my friends, otherwise I'll die. Like, you can make it as difficult as you want, with an NPC that you could talk to who adjusts the difficulty of the game. But the base difficulty is basically, think about it as story mode. And I can pretty much run around and do whatever I want and not have to worry about dying. The fence didn't stand a chance. Is that the Lieutenant of Nurzum over there? That must be why Nurzum came through here. Okay. What is this down here? Is that the Warband quest? Yes. Oh, hello guys. You want to be friends? It is a really good community, Liam, but it's also had like 17 years of maturation. So they've gotten rid of all the bad apples. Because I'll be honest, like, even I remember like maybe 15 years ago, I remember I was living in Bulgaria at the time, and I was on the Laurelin server, which is one of the old European servers, and it was a roleplay heavy server called Laurelin. And it had a very antagonistic roleplay purist community who would regularly go around and harass people that didn't create names that were elvish enough or dwarvish enough. And it was really annoying because they were like roleplay elitists. We used to call them roleplay Nazis before that was a politically incorrect term. And they were really aggressive, and they were not nice to new players. So if you were a new player who had never read the books and you were just coming in to play the game, and you made a character that had, you know, a regular fantasy name or something that you created that maybe was something like, here's a good example, like, let's say your favorite D&D character, and you use that character name in all the MMOs you play, and it's like Ragnar Whitefoot, right? And you created Ragnar Whitefoot on the Laurelin server in Lord of the Rings Online like 15 years ago. these people would literally report you and try to get you to have a forced name change. And they would go to the forums and they would make a post about what a shitty person you were because you didn't follow the naming rules and it's not Elvish enough and it's not Dwarvish enough and how dare you bring a D&D name into Middle Earth. Like, it used to be, there were a section of the community that were really bad about that, and it made it very uncomfortable for new people who had never played the game before. But thankfully, those fuckers aren't around anymore. We have a whole bunch of quests we need to turn in up north. Let's go do those before we talk to Horn. Gentleman says, I wish the game had a more classical mage class, but I know it's not lore accurate. I just love mages. Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, we get kind of close with the Rune Keeper. Kinda. That's about as close as they get to the classical magic user. Extra says, I think it seems like the quality of life features are good, having never played LOTRO. They definitely could use. They still need a lot of quality of life stuff. Like, it doesn't have 4K scaling, so like I have to, when I come play this game, I have to take my monitor and I have to bump it down from 4K to 1920 by 1080 because I can't. This game doesn't have any 4K scaling. So if you try to play this game in 4K, everything is, all the text is super tiny. The launcher doesn't scale. Like, so I mean, you know, there are definitely some quality of life things that it's missing. And I lament the lack of controller support every time I play. We've already talked about it probably 3 times today. But overall, Standing Stones Games has done a pretty good job of maintaining this game over the years, and I have full respect for the team and everything they've done. I can nitpick little things here and there, but uh-oh, Chris is bringing a kitty cat in here. I don't know who's coming in. I think we're going in here, it looks like. What was my first MMO? EverQuest. Way back in the day. Technically, if you want to go back even further than that, it was a game called Shadows of Eusebius, which was a Sierra game that Sierra Networks did way back in the early, like, mid-90s. But it was back when it was like, you had to pay per hour, I think, and it was an ungodly amount of money to play. And I was only like 15 or 16 years old at the time, so I remember playing a tiny little bit of it on a trial I had. It was like, oh my god, this is so much fun. And then it was like, oh my god, it's going to cost so much money, I can't afford that on an allowance. So my first real MMO was when EverQuest launched. That came out when I was 19, and I was immediately hooked. I actually heard about that game. So that game came out, I think, in March of 1999, and I was at the first Star Wars festival in Denver, Colorado in April of 1999, and I was in line at the Lego store, and we were talking with these guys behind me about Star Wars RPGs, the Westworld ones, and we were talking about D&D and Star Wars RPG, and then they were like, well, did you know that there's this new video game called EverQuest? And I was like, what's this? And they were telling me this story about like a hill giant coming over the mountains and like a bunch of players getting together and wizards calling lightning down from the sky, and I was like, holy shit. And I went home from the Star Wars festival and went and looked at the game and I went and got my own computer. Like, I didn't even have a computer at the time. I had a N64, I think, and a TV, but I did not have my own computer. Now, my parents had a computer, and I had a computer at their place where I had grown up playing, you know, point-and-click adventures games and like all the King's Quest, Quest for Glory, Space, all the LucasArts and Sierra games I played growing up, and then Baldur's Gate, the first Baldur's Gate. But yeah, I went and bought a PC at for a fortune. Like, it was like $2,800 in 1999, which is like $6,000 in today's money, was what it cost me to get a computer that didn't even have a graphics card. It just had a normal, just an Intel chip. And that's what I played EverQuest on. And that was my first MMO. I need to talk to the farmers.
These are desperate times for the Rohirrim. I do not know if we will survive this onslaught. These are desperate times for the Rohirrim.
Well, Thomas says, good evening from Portugal. What's your vision about the Legendary server? Do you think you start a new character? No, I've already played. I played 2 months on the Legendary server of Angmar, and I'm done. I've moved on. I want to focus on my hunter for a little bit. So we'll probably spend the rest of this year working on this character. See how far we can get him by Christmas time. Liam asks, where are you from? I grew up in Missouri for the first 16 years of my life, and then I spent about 12 years in Colorado, which is where I mostly associate with. And then ever since let's see here, moved there in 97, and then around 2007, I sold my tools, sold my truck, shut down my construction company, and I moved to Bulgaria, and I started traveling for a living, and I was a digital nomad for many years. And then I've had permanent residency in Mexico for a long time, and my wife and I have a homestead here in Mexico, and then I spent a lot of time at my brother's cattle ranch up in Missouri. So speaking of which, for anybody who's interested in that kind of stuff, we have a homestead channel, which is also kind of like a Life in Mexico channel. We do live streams every morning from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. Mountain Time, out the backyard into the catio with all the chickens and the cats. We have 8 cats, 30 chickens. It's sort of just a boring view, but you get to watch Chris and I do chores and have breakfast and hang out and listen to chickens crow and cackle and cats run around chasing shit. And occasionally we do some Mexico-related travel content, which used to be our day job for many years. We were travel bloggers for a long time. Do I ever think I'll go back to EverQuest? Nope. About 3 years ago, I said I'm done. We used to do a lot of P99, all the progression servers, but I'm done. Those days are gone. Helma says the Brandywine server has a pretty interesting community with lots of Russians and some pretty active RP. Liam says, have I ever been to Scotland? I have not. We were in Ireland in 2017. That was the last contract we worked. As travel influencers and content creators. We were in Ireland for a month on contract. We were speaking, we were doing a big travel conference where Chris and I were speaking. And then after that we worked with the tourism board for about 3 weeks on a big, we did the whole Wild Atlantic Way over like a 15-day period. And then we did a bunch of the Ireland Blue Book castles, a bunch of video content, drone footage, and bunch of other stuff, but that was the last contract we worked. So since 2017 we haven't really done a ton of traveling because we quit doing that for a living. And then we're in Mexico City for a few years, and then we bought the homestead at the end of 2021, and we moved here in 2022 in February, and then we've been here since then, kind of alternating between here and the States. Taban says, when this game came out, I didn't have a PC that could run it. Yeah, I remember when the Shadows of Luklin came out for EverQuest. That was the one where you needed a graphics card, and my poor old PC was like, I had to look at the ground when I was running through the caverns because it was such a bad frame rate. Well, I heard Chris at the door saying one of the cats wanted to come in, and then she didn't let him in, so they must have gotten sidetracked. Are all of these quests turned up? Horn, Kitterberg and Lorne settle. I think these are all somewhere else. Let's go back up here and turn this in first, and then I'll get a better idea of what needs to be turned in where. YouTube is the primary source, Gentle. I do a lot of so I multi-stream on YouTube and Twitch. YouTube probably makes up. I haven't done a proper income report in about 60 days, so it might have skewed a little bit. But traditionally, YouTube makes up about 85% of my revenue, and then the other 15-20% comes from Twitch, Patreon, etc. But I do income reports for the channel members. So if you're a channel member on YouTube in specifics, every couple months, sometimes every 3 months, I do income reports. We talk about traffic. We talk about analytics. We just did a major analytics report about 3 weeks ago, I think, maybe a month ago, talking about because Twitch growth has been very good over the past couple of months. I have been full-time at this for 2.5 years, a little more than 2.5 years. February of 2022 is when I started full-time. So we are a little over 2.5 years now into full-time content creation. I've focused mostly on content creation ahead of streaming for like the first 2 years, and then this year I've always streamed, but this has been the first year I've done more than like 2 hours a day. This year I've been skewing more and more towards more streams because it is more revenue, and it just took a while for the numbers to get there, but we've been in a pretty good place for the past 2 months, past 3 months. We've hit all of our income goals. We've hit all of our other goals. So we've been streaming more and more. I just announced a brand new stream schedule last week, which is the new schedule that we're working on now, which is 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. every single day. We're live, 9 a.m. Mountain. So every day we're live for about 6 hours, and then I always take an assessment at the 6-hour mark, and if we have more than 50 viewers, I keep on streaming. If we have less than 50 viewers, 6 hours is our cutoff point. But we've been doing pretty good. It does still depend on the game, but most streams I have around 50 people between YouTube and Twitch. And then sometimes, depending on the games we're playing, like Starfield or No Man's Sky, Baldur's Gate 3, those games I'll get like 80 people. And then new releases, it just depends. Like when Shattered Space dropped a couple weeks back, we had like 225 people on launch day, which was the biggest stream that I've ever had. We had 225 people between YouTube and Twitch. And then I'm interested to see what tomorrow's going to be like, because tomorrow is New World. But generally speaking, we usually rock around 40 to 50 people between YouTube and Twitch. And it is obviously a much bigger audience on YouTube, because I've had far more years on YouTube. I only started multi-streaming on Twitch October 25th of last year, so we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary with Twitch. But we're up to I think we're closing in on 1,700 followers on Twitch. We crossed 38,000 on YouTube last week. So we'll definitely be 40,000 by the end of the year on YouTube. I'd like to get to 5,000 by the end of the year on Twitch, but I think that might be a little aggressive. We'll see how it goes. Just the maps, which I don't need. Multi-streaming has been super beneficial for my channel. Super beneficial for me. The last analytics report we just did recently was talking about Twitch. So my Twitch revenue when I started, you're making $35-40 a month. Twitch is bringing in way more than that now, and it does still fluctuate kind of depending on the game. But we're in the we're making more than 150 a month on Twitch now, which for a long time it was like 30 to 50, and then over the last few months it's just gone steadily up, and every month it's been bigger than the last month. We've had like 150, 168, 182. I don't know what this month is going to be by the time we get in. This month may go over 200 because we're going to have New World, and we had Shattered Space. Next month we got Dragon Age Veilguard and Stalker 2. So I'm very interested to see where Twitch ends up by the end of the year. But it's been very beneficial to me. Extremely beneficial.
These are desperate times for the Rohirrim. I'm afraid of what is happening to these lands.
The only downside is when it comes to
It
the
is a
chat
sad
experience
thing
for people,
to
I can't
watch
show
your
the chat on
lands
screen
die.
because Twitch has rules about what you're not allowed to share anything on screen that takes viewers out of the Twitch experience. So I can't show YouTube chat on screen at the same time as the Twitch chat. So That's the only thing we lost when we switched over to multi-streaming, is I used to show the chat would be on screen so that people watching could easily keep up with the chat even if they weren't actively watching the chat. But now I can't do that. So what I do now is it depends on the day. We're at 58 people watching right now. Generally speaking, if we're less than 80 people, I can keep up with the chat and I generally will respond to most things. If I'm above 80 people, I can't. I skim read and I will pick things to respond to as we go through.
These are desperate times for the Rohirrim.
Is this session play? I don't really want to do session play today, but we'll do it. I'm super excited for Veilguard. If people who haven't been paying attention, welcome to the channel, Miniville, and everybody else who's following along. I've got my pink wig ready to go for Dragon Age Veilguard, and this is specifically to trigger Asmongold. I've gotten a lot of hate
Thrym Redbeard,
for being positive
the
about Dragon
champion
Age
of
Veilguard,
Forlorn,
because supposedly it's a
proudly carries
game
the hope of the
developed by
people of
pink-haired
Wildemore.
DEI lesbians.
He was one of
So
the few to
also,
heed the call
Tales of the
to
Shire is
defend an
supposedly another
incoming
game
attack
developed
on an
by
early
pink-haired
morning in
DEI
Forlorn.
lesbians. So in support of and solidarity with pink-haired DEI lesbians, I am going to be wearing a pink wig to stream both Tales of the Shire and Dragon Age Veilguard to trigger all those man babies who can't handle people having different lifestyles than them. And also, it goes in the theme with, for those of you who followed my Rings of Power Season 1 coverage, I had a two-year-long beard at that point in time, and I was known as the Dwarven Princess because I was talking about how all female dwarves look exactly like male dwarves, and so I was a princess, and you couldn't tell me otherwise. And so I'm bringing the Dwarven Princess back out of retirement, even though the beard is not as long now, but I've transitioned, and I'm going to be wearing a pink wig. Oh, I'm super excited for Tales of the Shire. It's going to be a fun, cozy little... Are you kidding? Hobbit crafting game? Like, my favorite starting area in the whole game, in this game, is the
Will you
Shire.
aid
It's
the Horse
awesome.
Lords?
Like, I can't wait to have, like, a little hobbit that runs around and does crafting and cooking and farming. It's going to be great. Oh, he just yeeted him. I didn't really, I didn't play Return to Moria because when it launched, it got really bad reviews, and I wanted to wait for it to get to a point where it had more content to be justified. So I know they just did a big content drop recently, and I will be checking out Return to Moria at some point, but I need there to be more content before I'm willing to jump on. I didn't want to jump into an early access title. Oh, it's my ability that eats him back. Okay. I did not play Gollum because it got horrible reviews, and I looked at it and I watched the footage and I said this game looks like absolute doggy doo. As much as I love Middle Earth, I don't want to play a doggy doo game. So I broke one of my golden rules of like always playing everything that comes out in Middle Earth or Star Wars, because I didn't have any desire to play Gollum. It looked. I watched the one. I think it was the launch. There was the launch trailer, and like some press footage they were doing, and like this does not look like it's ready for launch. And sure enough, it was not ready for launch, and it failed miserably because they launched something into the wild that was not ready to be launched. guys gonna help me, or are you just gonna stand back? Oh, I guess we have a turn in to do now. Oh, you can get up the hill. Come on now.
Our mission is dire.
These lands were once so fair. It's a sad thing to watch your lands die.
Thurham's Warsteed. Okay, hang on. Can you go check out the horse? Okay. Let's see if it's actually... Welcome to the channel. Thanks for following along. Looks like Hoochboy and John Pasquill on Twitch and YouTube, respectively. Well, good for you, Liam. I have a series of YouTube videos specifically targeted at questions like that. So, about 2 weeks ago, so on YouTube, it's titled, somebody asked the question, how many hours a day should you be streaming when you start? That's a good video to check out because we dive into a lot of logistics of streaming and content creation for a living. And then just 2 days ago, I think, we did the video on, what the hell's the name of it? It's like laboring away in obscurity or working away in obscurity, but it talks about the early days of streaming when you have no audience and the mental fortitude it requires to get through that, and things of that nature. So I do have a series of videos related to that stuff. But most of my how to stream for a living, analytics reports, the strategy that I use to do what I do, how I've grown my channel from scratch, all that stuff is it's locked behind a paywall. So that's for the channel members on YouTube, and I've done, ever since we started doing this, I do regular income reports, analytic reports, the strategies that I use to come up with the video guides that I do, and all the things that I've done along the way. So yeah, I definitely cover that kind of stuff. Most of it is behind a paywall. Some of it is free though. The most recent 2 videos I've done on how many hours a day to stream and like laboring away in obscurity, those ones are freely available for everyone on YouTube. I still haven't talked to Horn. I love how we have so many side quests that Horn is just kind of like forgotten about, and we're like, we'll get to him eventually. Here's Them's horse. And there's no rumor. Oh wow, it's actually his horse. That might be good news. Might not be the false hope he was worried about. And I can also say too, as much of a jam-packed 2024 we have, like 2025 is looking to be even busier for me than 2024 was. And 2024 was pretty busy. It's like just in the first few months of the year, we've got Kingdom Come Deliverance and Avowed in February. We've got Tales of the Shire and Adamfall in March. We know we've got GTA 6 next year. There's probably going to be, I know they announced like a couple months back, Dune Awakening is going to be out next year on PC anyway, not necessarily on consoles. And that's just like the first few months of the year. Fable's coming out next year. I still want to try Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm very glad it got bumped from November though, because I was going to be super busy in November with Dragon Age and Stalker 2. There's another DLC coming for Starfield. Hopefully we'll get news about the next Fallout game or the next Elder Scrolls game. Like, it's just, next year's going to be awesome. Like, we're finally getting into, like, peak development for, like, the Xbox Series X and the PS5. So it's like, Oops, I went too far. I was supposed to talk to somebody outside, I think. Get sidetracked talking. AI for voice quests. I would say before you say that they should, you should go play Robin Hood Sherwood Builders, which is an amazing game. It was a lot of fun, and oh my god, the voiceovers are absolute shit because they used AI. Only the main character has an actual voice actor behind him, and it's not good. Like I really enjoyed that game, but the voiceovers for all the secondary characters is really noticeably bad because they use voice-to-text AI stuff, and it's like, that tech needs a few more years before it gets good enough to be used for secondary characters in games. Once it does get good, I'm wholeheartedly supporting that idea because it's a great way to create like all this generic, not generic, but all this stuff. It would be awesome if it was voiced. It would be awesome.
These are desperate times for the Rohirrim.
Now, I used to do voiceovers, guys. If you go watch my streams from like 3 years ago, I used to do voiceovers for Lord of the Rings Online. However, that was before I was doing this full-time. And once I graduated to doing this full-time, my voice gets shot if I try to read all the text because I'm talking to people and we're doing this and we're recording videos and everything else. When I was playing Rogue Trader earlier this year, I tried with Rogue Trader. I tried to read every single line of dialogue in that game in a voiceover that was unique to those characters. And I just gave up after like 2 weeks of streaming. I was like, this game is going to kill me. I'm like 70 hours in and we're only like halfway through with the game. There's no way. And I actually, this month is the first month I've actually been using throat lozenges in between streams. It takes it out of you. On top of, you're expected to read tons of dialogue, which the dialogue in this game is really, really good, but so Thrym is definitely still alive, so we need to return to Garwig and let him know. First tier or second tier? What's the question related to? Sorry, gentlemate, I may have missed something in chat. Centauri says, I wish more LOTRO game, more Lord of the Rings game happen. They're definitely going to be happening. All tiers of memberships. All tiers of memberships get access to the stat videos. Yeah. Those are all tiers. Everybody who's a member gets access to those. The Embracer Group bought Middle-earth Enterprises, like 2 years ago for like $2 billion, I think it was. And they immediately, and there is a whole slew of Lord of the Rings games coming. Not the least of which is the Tales of the Shire in March of next year. Amazon's upcoming Lord of the Rings MMO. Those are just the start. I believe Return to Moria was in there as well. But the Embracer Group has already talked about how they plan on, it's a dirty word for some people, but I understand what the word is and why they use it. They fully plan to exploit the IP to the best of their advantage because they did spend $2 billion to buy Middle-earth Enterprises from the Saul Zaentz company. Thank God Saul Zaentz no longer is behind it. Which means now we're going to start seeing a whole bunch of not only new games, but new shows. Like they've talked about a young Aragorn show. We have the Hunt for Gollum film that Andy Serkis is doing, which is going to be 2 different films, which I believe they're starting principal photography next year. Peter Jackson is producing, I believe. They've got that whole creative team behind it. We have the War of the Rohirrim coming out in December. They're talking about a young Gandalf show. When I say young Gandalf, they're talking about Gandalf's many different adventures over the years. They're talking about lots of different TV shows and lots of different video games, and I am 100% on board for all of it. Because as much as I love all of the Disney Plus Star Wars shows that come out, I would love to have a bunch of Middle-earth stuff, just as much. I mean, all the Star Trek stuff has been really good the last
These
few
lands
years.
were once so
You start doing that
fair.
with Middle-earth, and I'm going to die a very, very happy man. Because I'm going to just be saturated in Star Wars, Star Trek, and Middle-earth for the next 10, 15 years. It's going to be awesome. We have a quest back here. Quest for answers. Speak with... Is he literally outside of the whole town or just behind the building? Glad I came over and checked out. Gentleman A just became a member on YouTube. Welcome aboard.
I'm afraid of what is happening to these lands.
Call at the West Gate when you're ready to depart. We will ride together. We should gird ourselves for swift travel and stealth if we are to avoid the enemy. He thinks of nothing but finding Thrym. Alright. We need to boldly ride. God, I love the wind sound effects here. Before I blow the horn, let me take a quick bio, everybody, and check on Chris and all the cats. And assuming everything is good with them, we'll be back in a couple of minutes, and we will continue onwards. feed one cat, and then they all decide they want snacks. So yeah, we have 8 cats. So Chris is outside working. She's literally like, she came in, she's like, "Are you getting more wine?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I'll take more wine." So she's drinking a glass of wine right now, but she's outside putting up more chicken wire for the rest of the catio. And maybe we'll be done today. But I was feeding Pippin. And then Leia decided she wanted food. Mama Cat decided she wanted food. Oh, wow. So Craig Duncan is going to be the new head of Xbox Game Studios in November. He is taking over. He's going to be coming over from Sea of Thieves from Studio Rare, where he is one of the heads over there. By the way, Sea of Thieves is a great game if you've not played that. My brother and I played that together for about a year and a half, and then we played it with his wife, with my sister-in-law. We did the Monkey Island quests, and we did the Pirates of the Caribbean quest lines. It's a good game if you've not played it. The best part about it is, like, you could totally ignore all the PvP stuff and just go do like these PvE storylines. I just grabbed my controller thinking that I'm playing a different game, and it's like, wait, no, I have to actually scoot up a bit, play mouse and keyboard. Habits. Gentleman says, or excuse me, Tyrone asks, where did Ren go? So, if you're a new viewer, guys, I have 8 cats, and those cats take priority. So, and we have a homestead with 30 chickens, and so I am constantly, I take a lot of AFKs during my streams. If you're here for any length of time, if in a 6-hour period, I'll probably duck out 4 times, and each time is about 5 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer, because I have to step out. Chris might need me for something. I might need to feed a couple of cats. I might need to check on the chickens. I might need to go grab some eggs. I might need to clean the litter box. I might need to fill up a water container. There's lots of stuff that goes down at our place. I'm not quite the level of Thor over at Pirate Software with his ferret rescue, but we do have quite a bit of animals. Looks like we can just ride down the road here. Reached the crossroads. This is a good place to rest. You can use the whistle to call him. Except he did not show up. Maybe I have to get off my horse. There it is. That's what it was. Strange. Let us pause here. Something is not right.
These are desperate times for the Rohirrim.
Perhaps you should begin your search for the artifact near here.
I am afraid of what is happening to these lands.
I see signs of Nursum. He was here. I knew it. Alright, let's check out these strange... Hang on. Let's get rid of the Zobar quest, because I don't need it. getting cold. Something's about to go down. You've come upon a giant spire of ice and snow, and the chill in the spot cuts to your very bones. We need to investigate. Good spot to look northward. The waters of the Izingmere are clear and you see no sign of any artifact. Wherever Nerzaman decided to go, he has left Forlaw alone for now. Well, it depends on which version of the map you're looking at, Tyrone. Oh, I went too far. Because there's the old map, and then there's the new maps. Wolves from distant lands now prowl the frozen plains to the south. I'm not in a safe place to open it up and showcase, but yeah, the old maps look much worse. Okay. Search the strange spire to the south. Oh, that's all the way down there. So this is like one of the newer maps. This is, I believe, one of the older maps. So like Yonder Shire, this is a new map. The Shire, this is the new map. Breeland, this is the new map. New map. Where's the old maps? Farrowkill? This is the old maps. So Farrowkill still has the old maps. This is the old maps. I'm not a fan of these maps. I much prefer like these new maps. They have brand new, like different text. They're far more colorful. You know, I think that, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Farrowkill either. That's like one of my least favorite zones in the game. It's like, let's run across endless ice plains for days and days and days. I really dislike having to go back there for like, which by the way, the last time I did a playthrough, which was my lore master, we played for about, I think we did about 18 months straight with him, going from start to like a level 102 or whatever. I burned up so many mithril coins with that character because I refused to do all the like traveling for the book quests, so I was going through the volume stuff. And I just burned up mithril coins because I was like, I don't want to ride to Farrowkill like 50 different times. Mithril coin, mithril coin, mithril coin. I had like 300 of them saved up, and I burned through like almost all of them doing all the book quests. Okay. Search for signs of the road. There's a smashed boulder. You're on your way to Moria, Pixel? Nice. Nerzum surely did this, likely throwing rocks at the fleeing rider. Continue searching for signs. Another life taken by Nerzum. Alright, we need to pick up his missives. Read the missive. Meat of evacuation to Forlaw. Oh, this is the guy that's sent out for Dunfast. Oh, shit. Well, he definitely didn't arrive back. It says completed. I wonder if that's just a bug. Oh, I probably have to turn it in right here. Never mind. Ooh, there's a campfire around this one. All right. Awake, awake, fear, fire, foes, awake! We need 2 more tents. Quest is done. Okay, and then it's just done fast is the last quest, which means we probably need to run over here and grab that horse. Oh, the Dunfast refugees. There's definitely a stable master here.
These are desperate times for the Rohirrim.
See, I always pronounce it Rohirrim. She's saying Rohirrim. It's very interesting.
These are desperate times for the Rohirrim. I'm afraid of what is happening to these lands.
Well, I know where they're at because I just went and saw them a minute ago, buddy. There's a refugee camp not too far away. Do we need to go inside? The barn is empty, even the horses are gone. The occupants of the shelter left no trace of their whereabouts. Okay, we need... The home is colder and draughtier than the others. Apparently a violent scuffle broke out in this home. Huh. I must be missing something. I wonder if those are things inside the homes that I missed. Perhaps other homes? A dropped satchel. We have 2 more clues to find. Is that a little doghouse? It's kind of cute. I know the chicken coops I came across in this in Rohan were what inspired me to go make our chicken coop in the backyard. Ended up not being the same, but I was working with hand tools, so I was struggle bussing, trying to get angles to work. All right. There's nothing in here. What am I missing? Oh, is there something on the back corner here? No, those are just ornate caches. Caches. I wonder if there's something in these buildings where like there was an upstairs that I need to look at and I probably missed. There's nothing there. Nothing there. Any horses or anything I need to click on? Nothing. Doors are locked. Nothing. What the hell, man? Well, I'm at a loss where to find these last 2 pieces. We did the barn, we did that home. Can we check the mailbox, I guess? No. Oh, spilled drink. I think there maybe were some things in these houses that I forgot to click on. A mess was left here, its gatherings hastily gathered. Man, I had some onions with my lunch, and all I can taste right now is like oniony arrachera. I am probably a delicious person to talk to right now. Would you like some onions? There's nothing in this. Oh, yes there is. Crumpled clothing. Supplies were gathered before this shelter was abandoned.
I am afraid of what is happening to these lands. I am afraid of what is happening to these lands.
I literally came across the people on my way here. Find out what watches you from the trees. Oh. Uprooted tree. Smashed boulder. The dogs love me? I know. Have some meat and onions. That was a delicious leftovers though. Like we just, I went in there and all that was left was like a little bite of arrachera left over. So Chris had eaten the rest of it. Drive off sneaking enemies. So we have completely. The only thing left is there's like a quarter of a loaf of bread left from yesterday's feast. We have officially finished off the bottle of wine, finished off the arrachera. There's a tiny bit of salad left, and then the bread. Which honestly, I could eat the rest of that loaf of bread today, but I'm slightly terrified of doing so because it's a lot of bread. It's delicious bread though. I may have to track. Can I track hidden? I forget. The unseen? Do they count as like sneaky little bastards? Nothing to track. So I guess I can't track people who are sneaking. Sneaking. So it's essentially, God, I can't see shit with the icicles and the like all the other effects on the screen right now. It's really hard to see things against the white. Can't see shit out of this thing. Storms blowing in. I can't track those guys for sure, so I'm assuming you just have to run around until you find the sneaky ones. Oh, like that one right there. Alright, you sneaky little bastards, where you at? Clear liquids. Doctor's orders, man. That's never a fun time. I'm probably due for cholesterol checkup at some point, which means going on liquids and doing the whole fast so I can go do blood tests. It has been a few years, so I probably should go do an update.
These are desperate times for the Rohirrim. I am afraid of what is happening.
So I've already
to these
found the
lands.
survivors. I like found them in the encampment. I don't need to search for them. I know where the encampment is. I am not, gentlemen, because I don't like PvP. So Ashes of Creation is being billed as a PvP game. I have no desire. Gentlemen, double dipping, following over on Twitch as well. That's how you do it. The better way to say that would be I'm following it in so much as it relates to potentially the only successful crowd-funded MMORPG to ever make it across the finish line. Unless you count, what is it, Song of Albion or whatever it was called. But and they're doing some interesting things with the tech that they're using and the port to Unreal 5 and everything else, but I don't do PvP, so it's definitely not for me. I know, Tyrone. Like when they pushed Assassin's Creed Shadows back to February, I was like, I can't do it. Like as much as I would love to play that game, I already have Avowed and Kingdom Come Deliverance happening in February, and I'm already stressed about that one because Kingdom Come Deliverance is coming out 1 week, 7 days before Avowed, and there is no way that I could do a full clear through of I mean, fuck, the first Kingdom Come Deliverance is like a 150-hour game. There's no way I'm going to be able to get through KDC 2 before Avowed drops. The only saving grace is that Avowed is probably going to be like an Outer Worlds experience, which means a streamlined 40-hour playthrough, maybe 50 hours, like completionist journey. So probably what'll end up happening is I'll play Kingdom Come Deliverance for like the 7 days leading up to Avowed, and then I'll probably stop, play Avowed, beat Avowed, and then come back and finish my Kingdom Come Deliverance playthrough. That's probably how that's going to work. And in between there, I might do like, we might split it up and say maybe half of the stream is Kingdom Come Deliverance and half of the stream is Avowed. That might be a better way to do it. I'll make that decision when I get closer to that time. But yeah, my February is packed. Man, next year's gonna be awesome.
These are desperate
like
times
this year
for the
was awesome.
Rohirrim.
Next year's gonna be even more awesome. Fable's in there somewhere. I don't know that we have a release date for that one. Nor for Grand Theft Auto 6.
This onslaught.
How come? Okay, there we go.
Saruman will pay for the crimes of the White Hand.
The White Wizard has taken everything from us. Invaders have wrought this misery upon us.
I do. I've played all of the Assassin's Creed games with the exception
I am
of,
afraid of what is happening to these lands.
Believe it or not, I skipped Black Flag. I skipped Black Flag and the one that came after that, which was like the Patriot one, like the American, like Paul Revere time period, like Revolutionary War, because I was traveling when those two came out, so I didn't have time to play those. But otherwise, I've played every game in that franchise, and I've enjoyed them. My favorites, though, were I like the RPG ones, the Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla expansions the most. I have almost 3 full playthroughs of Odyssey. That was by far my favorite out of that trilogy. Valhalla is a second. Origins was okay. Odyssey was amazing. Like, I freaking loved Odyssey. It was massive, and it was like Greek mythology, which is absolutely amazing. But then Valhalla was just super fun. I love the England. I love the Viking stuff. I had a lot of fun with the raiding. I've only done one playthrough, though, of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I would totally go back and do another Valhalla playthrough if I had time.
These are desperate times.
Oh, and
for
I
the
guess I didn't play the
Rohirrim.
last one, Mirage, because Mirage came out like 6 months ago or something, maybe a year ago, and I was just too busy with I think I was too busy with Baldur's Gate 3, or Starfield, or Cyberpunk when it came out. One of those 3 games was out, and I just didn't have time to do both.
I am afraid of what is happening to these lands.
So many quests.
1,000 curses upon the orcs.
The White Wizard has taken
White
everything
Wizard.
from us.
The White Wizards. I really liked the RPG versions. The new ones, the only thing I don't like about the new ones is they went back to the like streamlined you know, 25, 30 hours of gameplay, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but they got rid of the RPG elements, and I really liked the RPG elements. Not that I disliked the way they did it. Like, the first game was still, like, one of the coolest things ever. Like, I remember when that game came out, and that was so cool. I think I got that one on the first Xbox, or the Xbox 360. I forget which one it came out on. Xbox 360, maybe? And I remember having a great time with that, like, right before... it was right before Halo 3 came out, and it was just like it was like, this is so awesome. The second one was Italy, or the third one was Italy? I don't remember. With Enzo. I've always enjoyed though. I love the overall story. I love the movie. Chris and I have watched that film like 5 times. Like, I just think it's a cool franchise. So for me, I don't get hung up too much on, you know, which one was the best so much. Like, it's not like I won't play the other ones. It's usually I've just been busy to play the other ones. So I haven't had a chance to play the most recent ones. Alright guys, I'm wrapping it up today. Tomorrow morning, we will be back bright and early, starting New World Eternum at 6:30 a.m. Mountain Time. So if you're a North American viewer, bright and early. If you're a European viewer, it'll be like middle of the afternoon. But tomorrow is going to be New World Eternum. That's the main game for the next couple of weeks until Dragon Age the Veilguard. I'll be back for more Lord of the Rings Online next Monday. Thank you, Geek. I appreciate it. Thanks for the anniversary wishes. LOTRO is next week around noon. We do start at 9 a.m., but LOTRO is not going to be a full session next Monday. It's going to be the latter half of the stream, so we'll be playing. There is a video that went live just before this. If you haven't seen it over on YouTube, it talks about my Lord of the Rings Online schedule for the rest of 2024. So if you came here on Twitch or YouTube today and you want to know when am I playing LOTRO, because this is what you want to watch me play, that video has got the exact details for all the scheduling. For everything else, if you want to hang out with the greater community and you want to watch all the games that happen on the channel, the daily streams are at 9 a.m. Central. Tomorrow we are starting early because it's a launch day, so it's a little different. And then, of course, we do World of Warcraft on Wednesdays and Saturdays during the latter half of the streams. We raid on Saturday nights, and those videos get published the day after. So hopefully we'll see you for all the things. There's also a Discord if you want to get involved with our greater community and all the stuff that I do with the Homestead channel. You can also follow along with the Homestead channel. Morning streams happen at 4 a.m. It's just the catio, chickens, cats, Chris and I doing chores, stuff like that. There's also a Patreon if you want to get involved with my work as a sci-fi and a fantasy author, and there's links to my books down below. See you guys next time. Thanks for hanging out today, and thanks to all of you who supported with memberships, super chats, super thanks, subscriptions, bits, cheers, and all the things on YouTube and Twitch. Have fun, everybody.